Okay, good day. This is Mrs. Tole. Today we are looking at our ratios. Now, in method 3, we need to understand what ratios are, and your ratios compare two or more quantities that are expressed in the same unit, meaning to say they must be the same unit. If we are referring to kgs, it only have to be kgs. If it is currents, it only have to be currents. We need to deal with one particular unit. Okay, so here we are saying we can have a ratio of it's represented as A S to B. So A with these two dots S to B, or you can also represent it as a fraction A over B, or you can also write it as A to B. Okay, so these are different ways of presenting what is it a ratio. So it has to be 1:2 or 1/2 or 1:2. So what it means that if maybe you and your sister can be sharing something. So we are saying 1, if you receive 1, your sister will receive 2. So if let's say if you receive 100 rand, your sister will receive 200 rand. So for every 100 rand that you receive, he receives 200 rand. For every 10 rand that you receive, your sister will receive 20 rand. So it's 1:2. That's what it means when we are saying that, when you're saying 1:2. But you find also that how much money now, if we are to say 1:2, okay, 1:2, it means that if you're going to receive 10 rand and your sister receive 20 rand, it means that the whole amount that you guys are taking is 30 rand. Okay, you get to understand that later. Now, but now when I give ratios as well, you need to simplify the ratio. You need to simplify the ratio. So how do you simplify ratio? You divide with the smallest a value there, smallest value. So you check here, or you find common factor that goes into both of them. So here you see that 3 goes into what? Into 3, and also 3 goes into what? Into 9. So it's going to be 1:3. That's how you simplify the ratio. Then here 4:4. Then also you divide both sides by 4 because this is a smaller value. Then you have got what? You've got 1:5. Okay, that's how you do it. Then what else can we see here? 16:36. So, but now if you say 36 divided by 16, what do you get? You see that you get 9/4, which is actually a fraction. So what you do here, you look for factors that goes into 16 and also goes into 36. So for example, let's use 4. So 4 goes into, so 16 divided by 4, we get 4. Then 36 divided by 4, we get 9. So it means that it's gonna be if we divide here by 4, we divide by a common factor that goes into both, then we have 4:9. So we can't go further there. We have to leave it there, okay? Because there is no other factor that goes into 4 and also goes into 9, sorry. So this will be our answers, okay? So that's how you simplify ratios. So you're just simplifying to their simplest form. Now how do we get missing value in the ratio? So let's give an example here. Prince and Owen's income is in the ratio of 2:3. If Prince's income is 12,000, what is Owen's income? So we know that the ratio is 2:3, and we want to find what? We want to find Owen's income. So now what do you do here? You can put whatever value that you're not having here that you're looking for, you put it as X. Okay, when you put it as X, there are 2 ways that you can actually find this X. Okay, so you can put X here and see right now how do we get it that. Now we find there, we look for what we call a multiplication factor. How did we get to 12 from 2? That's what we're saying. How did we get to 12 from 2? So what do? We divide 12,000 divided by 2, we get 6,000. So it means that we had to multiply this 2 times 6,000. Okay, so we need to do the same as well to get X times 6,000. So to get X, we need to do the same. So it's 2:3, yes, but now what is the multiplication factor? How did we get to this? That's what we're saying. What is the multiplication factor? We had to multiply by 6,000. Now when you multiply 6,000, you also do the same here. So 3 times 6,000. So you're gonna say 3 times 6,000. You get 18,000. So our X is going to be equal to 3 times 6 36,000, which is going to give us 18,000. That's our answer there. So it's 18,000 rands. Okay, that's our answer. Is 18,000 rands. Now let's move on to another way also of finding what we call the formula there. So what do we do here? We do what we call cross multiplication. Cross multiplication. You can see my arrow where it's going. It's going there up. This one goes that side. What do we mean now? We mean to say x is going to multiply 2, so we're going to have 2x is equal to 3 is going to multiply 3 times 12,000. Okay, now what do we get there? 2x is going to be equals to, we say 12,000 times 3, we get 36,000. Then we have got 36,000 here. Now, how do we remove the 2 here? We divide both sides by 2. So we say 2, we divide by 2, then 2 into 2, we'll get 0. Then we say x is going to be equal to, so we say 36,000 that we have here divided by 2, we get 18,000. Can you see what we have done here? You can see the answers are the same. Answers are the same, but you use different methods. So on this one here, you choose what is actually easy for you. But what's commonly what you use in most cases here is actually cross multiplication. Cross multiplication here is quite actually easy for you to get to the point to your answer. Okay. Now let's see what we have here: sharing and dividing ratio problems. Now we want to see if we are to share. And remember, we say your sister, you and your sister can share 1:3, 1:2. But now we want to see if you are given a certain amount, how much will each get? Okay, so in this case, let's deal with what we have here. We are told that Titus and his sister Portia are supposed to share 20 sweets in the ratio of 1:3. How many sweets will each have? Now, we are told here that it is the ratio that is 1:3. But what we need to understand here is that you need to calculate total parts, because these are what we call parts. So it's 1 part is to 3 parts. So we say total parts is going to be equal to 1 plus 3 equal to 4. So our answer there is 4, the total part. Now, we haven't done yet. So we are looking for Titus now. Titus share. So we want to see how many sweets will Titus get. So we'll say 1, which is this for Titus, over total parts, which is 4, times how many sweets? 20 over 1. Then what do we get? We say 1 over 4 times 20 over 1. We get 5. So it's going to be 5 sweets. Remember what I said? Units. Very much important in the first lecture. 5 units. Now, 5 sweets. Then you move on to Owen. To Sister Portia. Now, I want to see how many will the sister get now. So we know that it's gonna be 3, because it's getting 3 parts. Here it's getting 1 part. He's getting 3 parts out of how many? Out of 4 parts, which is the total here, times 20. Then what do we get there? Okay, so this is what you press here for fraction. Press there, you put your 3, then you press arrow there down, that goes down, then you press arrow to your right, then times 20, we get over 1. You can even put it like that, but it's fine. Then you get 15 sweets. So now what you see there is that of the 20 sweets, 5 will be taken to Titus. Portia will get 15. So if you say 15 plus 5, you still get 20. Can you see this now? So you, in your calculation, you must make sure that your total that you get, you must add it to get to your final, to your the number of sweets that we have. Now let's move on to the next question here. 3 friends, John, Peter, and Petros, are to split 6,000 rand rent per month in the ratio of 9:10:11 respectively. Meaning to say, when you say respectively, meaning to say John will get 10. Peter, so it's John 9, Peter 10, Petros 11. Can you see this? That's what we are saying here. Now, here, what are we going to have? Like for this one, I forgot here, Titus S2, Portia, it's 1:2, 3. That's what we see here. Then here, what are we going to get now? We are going to get to do what we have done before. Total parts is equal to 9 plus 10 plus 11. We get 30. Now, what is each friend's contribution towards the rent? So now we want to see how much will each contribute. So let's start with John. So John is going to be 9 over total is 30 times what? 6,000. Then for Peter, it's going to be 10 over 30 times what? 6,000. Then for Petros, it's going to be 11 over 30 times what? 6,000 over 1. Okay. Now, what do we do now? We come here and start with John. John is 9. Press there. 9 over 30 times what? Times 6,000 over 1. Then what do we get? 1,800. Units, please. Units. Now, then again, for Peter is 10 over 30 times 6,000. Delete 6,000 over 1. We get 2,000. So Peter will be paying 2,000. I think here is because their rooms are different. Their rooms are different. They are of different size, so they have to split. They can't be equal, paying equal amount of money. Now, what do we have here? 11. Press 30. Can you see we are using the same total here, same denominator, times 6,000 over 1. What do we get? 2,200. Now, that's what each will be contributing. Now, just to cross-check, if we are to say 2,200, which is this one here, plus 2,000 plus 1,800, you see that we get 6,000 total, which is what we started with here. So this is actually what we call when you're sharing what is it, ratios. Okay, when you're sharing whatever you're splitting together, you need to make sure that you consider that. Now let's move on to what we call a proportion. Now proportion, when two ratios are equal, we say they are in proportion. When two ratios are equal, we say they are in proportion. Okay, so for example, A over B is equal to C over D. We say that they are in proportion. Proportion can be used to solve problems involving scale, exchange rates, and fuel consumption. So we are saying we need to know that, okay, what is it? For every 1 liter, you pay 17 rand 70 cents. Then 2 liters, you're going to pay double that. That's how it goes. Then this proportion is there are two different proportions. You have direct proportion and indirect proportion. So let's see what we see here when we're dealing with what we call direct proportion. Direct proportion is mean that ratio between two quantities is constant. Ratio between two quantities is what? Is constant. Now ratio, remember, y over x is supposed to give us constant, which is k. So here, as x gets bigger or smaller, so is y. So as you increase x, your y is also increasing. As you decrease your x, your y also decreases. So let's say in a scenario that what is it? 1 apple costing 5 rand. 1 apple costing 5 rand. Want to see how will it work now? 1 apple costing 5 rand. How will it work like that? Now we see that we say for 0 apples we get 0. There is nothing. For 1 apple is 5 rand. For 2 apples, we say, okay, I want to buy 2 apples. How much is 1 apple is 5 rand? Okay, I want 2. You're giving them 10 rand. Very good. Then you give them 15 rand. They give you what? They give you 3 apples. But now I want to see if you're going to get 7 apples, how much should you pay? Now, what we see here is that we say y over x is equal to what? 5 over 1, which is equal to what? 10 over 2. Which is equals to 15 over 3. And what you always get here is 3. Sorry, it's 5 there, sorry. this constant here, our constant is 5. So our constant is 5 here. So what does it mean here? It means that to get our what is it, our A, we have to say 7 times 5. If you want 7 apples, you need to calculate, you multiply by 5. That's what we're saying here. So our A will be equals to 7 times 5, which is equal to 35 what is it, rand. That's the cost, remember, 35 rand. Then now we see that 8 you need to pop out what you call 40 rand. Then what about B here? We want to see how many of them will you buy with what, with 55 rand. Then we say our B here, we'll say it, we have to divide by what? We have to say 55 rand divided by 5 rand. How many will we get? Then we say 55 divided by 5, we get 11. So we're going to get 11 apples. So we're going to get 11 apples. Can you see how we're calculating it? So these are the things that you will see in your math literacy, what called calculating missing values. You need to check with what is the relationship there. Okay. Now let's move on here to what you call, to actually how your graph look like. So we are saying if it is 1, it's 5. If it is 0, it's 0. We don't have an apple. But if it is, what is it? If it is 1 apple, which costs 5 rand. If there are 2 apples, they cost you what? They cost you 2 rand. Then if there are 3 apples, they cost you 15 rand. Goes on like that. So what we have here is that I didn't draw this graph according to scale. So you will see that it doesn't give me a proper straight line, but you need to put it like this, okay? So that we know that at 1, that's what we have. At 2, that's what we have here. Then at 3, that's what we have. Okay, the spacing is just different, but you have a continuous graph like that. Okay, that's what it means. It means that we are having a continuous graph, and it's actually what we call going up there, and it's straight, a straight line. Okay, that's what we have there. Okay, now let's see here what we have, what we call another type of proportion. It's indirect proportion or inverse proportion. Now we're saying product of 2 constants remains constant. Now when we're saying inverse, product of the two quantities should be constant. Product of them means to say when you multiply the x, the one on top and the y on bottom, you multiply, you get the same answer when you multiply the second ones, isn't it? That's what you're saying. So as x gets bigger, y gets smaller. So it's vice versa. It's vice versa. Now, for example, here, top paint company have been granted job to paint a school. Number of days taken to complete depend on number of painters. So what you're saying is mean that, okay, we are saying if you have got a less number of painters, if you've got 1 painter, it will take you 12 days. But if you've got 2 painters, it will take you 6 days. So if you have 3 painters, it will take you 4 days. So we are saying as you increase number of painters, you are reducing number of days. So as one increases, the other one decreases. That's what we're simply saying. That's inverse proportion. It's different from what we are saying. We are buying bananas. 1 banana is 2 rand, and you need to buy 2 bananas. It's going to be 2 rand plus 2 rand. You get 4 rand. So it's going to, as you increase number of bananas, you're also increasing amount of money. Now that's what we're saying here. So, but now let's see what we're having here. So x constant product is what we have is equals to x times 1, which in this case we're going to say 1 times 12 equal to 2 times 6 equal to 3 times 4. But when you do this, you all get, each of them will give you 6. Sorry, so not 6, 12. So we're going to get 12. So when you have 12 times 1, it's 12. 2 times 6 is 12. 3 times 4 is 12. So you have a constant what is it, a product. Now let's see, how do you get your A? We know that x times y, that's our product. So x is equals to 12. Then what we do, we say 4 times A is equals to 12, which is 4A is equals to what? 12. Then we divide to get rid of A, we divide by 4, we divide by 4, then A is going to be equals to 3. So we have our A equal to 3. What about B? We know that again, B times 1 is going to give us 12. So what do we have here? So B is going to be equal to, B times 1 is B, so B is going to be equals to 12. That's how we get your B there. Okay, so we have got this and we also have this now. Okay, so I hope you guys understand this part. Now let's see here how it look like. Now we're saying when it's one, what is it? One number of painters is one. Then we are saying number of days here. Of days. Now, if it is one painter to take 12 days. But what about two painters to take 6 days? So what you simply have here in the end here, you have a graph that goes down. Because remember, I didn't draw this one to scale, but you have a graph that goes down like that. That's what we have. Compared to this one here, that is actually going up. It's an up loop. But this one here, you're actually going down. That's what we call the inverse. The inverse, it shows you the inverse relationship. Okay, it shows the inverse relationship. Then let's move on to our next page, which we have some questions here. Now, the first question is saying, to mix concrete, you need 1 part cement, 2 parts sand, and 3 parts gravel. If a builder needs 18 kg of concrete, how many kilograms of cement, sand, and gravel does he need? So here we know cement S2, sand S2, gravel. They are in the ratio of what? 1:2, 2:3. That's what we have here. So again here, what do we do? Total parts. Total is equals to 1 plus 2 plus 3, which will get what? 6. Okay, so total parts is 6. So now I want to see what is the cement, how much of cement do we need? Of that 18 kg, we're going to say it's going to be 1, which is for cement, over total is 6 times 18, which is total kgs. Because we are splitting the 8 kg that we're splitting here. Then what do we get here? What will we get? Then we say move on to sand. Then sand here is going to be 2. It's 2 over 6 times what? 18 over 1. Then we get what we get there. Then this one, gravel, is going to be equals to 3 over 6 times 18 over 1. Then we get what we get there. So let's check here. We say 1 over 6 times 18. What do we get? We get 3 kg. Then what about sand? 2 over 6 times 18. We get 6 kg. Then what about gravel? Is 3. 3. We've got more of gravel there. We have more of gravel. So 3 over 6 times what? Times 18. We get 9. So we have 9 kg. So if you add all this, you get 18 kg. Okay, so that's how you split it. That's how you split it, guys. I hope you guys understand very well that you need to calculate first when you're splitting ratios, total parts first, then total parts becomes your denominator for all of them. So you say 1 over multiplied by 1, 2 over the total parts, it goes on like that. Okay, I hope you guys understand this part. Now, the builder only has got 5 kg of sand available. 5 kg of sand available. How many kilograms of concrete can he make? Now, we are saying 5 kg of what? Of sand available. How many kilograms of concrete does he make? Now, we need to check here sand as to the concrete. Now, what is the ratio of sand to your concrete? Now we see that from the previous year, what we see is that is what? Is sand to your concrete, is sand is 6 as to 18. Because we need concrete of 80, so it's 6 as to 18. So what we simply have here is that for we reduce this, divided by 6, it's going to be 1 as to 3. So we now say, all right, now we've got 5 kg here. Remember what we said last time? We said 5 kg of what? Of sand. So we put the 5 kg here. Then we want that one concrete, that's our X. Then what do? We cross multiply. So x is going to be equals to 5 times 3, which is going to be equals to 15 kg. So with 15 kg, sorry about that, you didn't see clearly. Now with 5 kg of cement, you can produce 15 kg of concrete. That's what it means here. Okay, now let's move on to the last question. Naledi intends selling oranges at a local shop market day. She buys 1 dozen oranges for 9 rand. She decides to sell the oranges in packages of 6 at 6 rand per packet. Now, here is something that you need to understand. Dozen. What is a dozen? Dozen is 12. These are the things that you will be facing here in maths literacy, because that's what you use in real life to say, I want a dozen of eggs. So here we are also using the same thing, dozen. You must know that dozen is 12. Now they're saying calculate the price of 1 orange. Now we are saying how many oranges cost what? They are saying a dozen, 12 oranges cost what? 9 rand. What about 1 orange? It costs X. So what do we do? Remember, we cross multiply. So it's gonna be 12x is gonna be equals to 9 times 1. 9 rand times 1. Then what do? We divide by 12 to get rid of what? 12 here. Then we divide by 12 here. X is gonna be equals to what? 9 divided by 12. We get 3/4, which is rand, 0.75 rand. So it's 75 cents. That's what it means. 1 orange is costing 75 cents. Now let's move on. The profit she will make per dozen oranges sold. Now we want to know, all right, how much will will she make? Now what we see is that 1 dozen, she's buying it for what? For 9 rand. Okay, so we're saying 1 dozen is giving, it's actually selling, is giving what called 9 rand. Buying for 9 rand. But what we see is that he is making 2 packages here. He's splitting that dozen into 2. So for every dozen, he has to split into 2. So we are saying here, for every dozen, the income coming in now is going to be per dozen, because it's going to make 6. So it's going to decide to sell oranges in packets of 6. So if there are 6 times 2, we get what you split it to get two packets. So he's selling 2 packets. Income per dozen is going to be 2 times 6, which is going to be giving us 12 rand. Now profit is equals to your selling price, the selling price that we have, minus what you call minus the cost. So selling price minus cost. Now what do we have here? We've got 12 rand minus 9 rand. What do we get? 12 minus 9, we get 3. So we get 3 rand. So what we see is that she's Naledi is getting 3 rand profit. 3 rand profit. Now let's move on to the third one. How much it will cost Naledi to buy 108 oranges? Okay, we know that 12 oranges, she can buy them for what? She can buy them for 9 rand. What about 108 oranges? She's gonna buy for what? So what about the spelling? Now she's gonna buy for what? For X. Also want to know how much will this one buy. So we cross multiply. Remember, we take this one up there, it's gonna be 12x. We take that one there, it's gonna be equal to 9 times 108. So 9 times what? Times 108, we'll get 972. 12x is going to be equals to 972. Then we divide both sides by 12. By 12, what do we get there? X is going to be equal to 972 divided by 12. We get 81. So he needs 81 rand to buy 108. He needs 81 rand to buy 108. Or what you can do is just that, okay, 108 oranges, how many of each dozen? How many dozen do we have? You're going to say, all right, it's going to be 108 oranges divided by 12 to find dozens. How many dozens will you be having? So we say 108 divided by 12, we'll get 9. So it's going to be 9 dozens. But we know that each dozen costs what? 9 rand. So it's going to be 9 dozens times 9, which is going to give us 81 rand. So either way, you still get what you call to your answer. Okay. So I hope these guys you will take note of this and also practice. I'm going to upload also some work for you to practice. Okay. Thank you so much.